First, to keep my students honest at Michigan State University and to give you some help. You can write down this bibliography from which I drew my material in sharing with them this week. The Cambridge History of Islam. The Cambridge History of Islam. That is in 2 volumes. The Cambridge History. They used to have, I guess they broke it, they used to have a tray there. Second book is What Christians Should Know About Jews and Judaism. What Christians, thank you, Reverend. What Christians should know about Jews and Judaism. It is written by Rabbi Yechiel, Y-E-C-H-I-E-L, Eckstein, spelled the same way as Billy Eckstein, E-C-K-S-T-E-I-N, 1984. What Christians Should Know About Jews and Judaism. The third book is by Fazlur Rahman, F-A-Z-L-U-R, Fazlur. Rahman is R-A-H-M-A-N, as in no, Rahman. It is entitled Islam. The fourth book is by Arthur Kessler. Those of you who were here yesterday for the leadership training, I referenced his book and I had it on the board. Arthur, K-O-E-S-T-L-E-R, Arthur Kessler. The title of his book is The 13th Tribe. And the last is not a book, it is a quarterly, it's a periodical, comes out 4 times a year, entitled The Link, L-I-N-K. It is published by the Americans for Middle East Understanding. Its board of directors and its writers are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Arabs who are neither Christian or Muslim. And it has a wealth of material. I would recommend that you subscribe to that quarterly. 4 times a year they present wealth of information, just very helpful in terms of bringing the average American of whatever religious persuasion up to speed in terms of what is fact as opposed to what the New York Times and others print as fiction. Classic example, what I mean, their current edition, the Link's current edition is on Hamas. Let me see the hands of those of you who know what Hamas is. It's about 5 of you, 7 of you. Do you know the difference between Hamas and Fatah? And their current edition gives you the background to help you understand the difference between Hamas and Fatah and the United States support of Fatah, and how Condoleezza Rice went into shock when the people voted in a democratic election for Hamas, and how our government does not want Hamas as an ally in that region, in that part of the world. While we were in, footnote, sidebar, while we were in Kemet this summer, Dr. Hilliard helped many of our members to understand where the term Middle East comes from. Do you know where that 8th continent got its name and how it got its name? Because there is no place called the Middle East. And yet when you name the 7 continents and you start talking about on which continent the things in the Bible take place, you will hear us starting to say, in the Middle East. Tonight, all you hear on your radio and television is the Middle East. And tomorrow, the Middle East, the Middle East, the Middle East. The Middle East has to do with what Asa Hilliard was showing us this summer is called European or Eurocentric orientation, where Europe is at the center of the world. Far East is Japan, China, Taiwan, halfway between Europe and Japan, Taiwan, China, Korea, Okinawa, is the Middle East. That's the Far East. This is the Middle East. And Dr. Hilliard, just to help us reorder our thinking, pointed out that instead of orientation, that we needed to understand how to become Afrientated. Instead of orientated, put Africa in the center of the universe, and that puts, the Middle East goes away as soon as Africa becomes the center. You ever notice every map you look at, you in America, it has North America, Central America, South America here, and everybody else is somewhere else? All right, change the map and put Africa at the center of the world. And look at the world through the eyes of Africa, and you see there's no more Middle East. That Palestine is up here, Ethiopia is over here, Egypt is here, Asia Minor is there, Asia's there, America's way over there. But the link is published by the Americans for Middle Eastern Understanding, and what they do is try to help those of us who don't live in that region of the country to understand what all of the different factions and sides really mean, what they stand for, and what the problems are as they are exacerbated by our government and our government's desire for power and for resources and for oil, especially for oil. So those are the 5 books and quarterly, 1 quarterly, 4 books and 1 quarterly that I use to talk about these 7 different areas. They think y'all got good eyes over here, so they put it way over here. The 7 things I want to talk about that you need to keep in tandem and in tension with each other when you're talking about, just this title gives you an inkling, sibling rivalry, that really is inaccurate, but that's what a lot of us think about when we think about Jews and Muslims. We think about the fact that they come from a sacred text, which is our text, and before it was our text, it was the Hebrew Bible, where Abraham is the father of Isaac, Isaac is the father of Jacob. Jacob had his name changed in our sacred text to Israel. Israel had 10 boys who sold one of his other boys into slavery. Jacob, son Judah, what are they saying? They can't see now. Y'all just keep on writing. You can come back and get this. The seven areas, let me see if I write big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 areas that we need to look at to understand what is driving a lot of what you hear on television, particularly those of you who love to watch TBN and Christian stations and listen to the foolishness that's preached about Israel and Jesus coming back, and we need Israel, him to come back. The Christian right wing who side with the Jewish right wing in terms of driving the Palestinians out of that country and Jews being able to return back to their home. There it is.